Well, love is in the air in theaters this weekend with a twist on a classic Frankenstein story, and another movie is going inside the Teacher's Lounge. Now, here to tell us about all of this great stuff that's happening is movie reviewer Greg Russell. Hey, Greg.
Hey, Tati.
How are you?
Great, and yourself?
I'm good.
Always a pleasure to be here with you.
Always a pleasure to have you, of course.
Yes.
So let's talk about the movie Lisa Frankenstein. It's a very different take on the classics love story, and it's directed by Robin Williams' daughter, Zelda Williams. Tell us about this.
It's kind of this bizarre thing. There's this young lady who's in high school, kind of, I don't want to say awkward, but, you know, kind of like off to herself, doesn't have a lot of friends. So she would just hang out at the cemetery, happen to hang out at this tombstone with Frankenstein. Next thing you know, something happens where the person comes to life.
She hangs out at the cemetery.
Yep.
You know something's about to happen.
That's for sure, and I got to talk to them about what's happening. So what is happening? Here we'll find out. A lot of times people, when they get into relationships, they hope, God, I hope this person doesn't talk a lot.
Perfect.
Perfect.
I know. I was the silent stoic type. It was great.
I feel
ideal.
like our relationships would last longer, friendship, boyfriends, whatever, if we just knew less about them.
Yeah.
Don't tell me everything.
The mystery just keeps building. It's great.
Yeah.
And I want to start out first, Diablo, with you. Where did this whole concept come from? Quite an interesting story.
Well, obviously, you know, thank you very much. There's a lot of Frankenstein stories out there in our culture. You know, obviously it started with Mary Shelley a very long time ago, and there have been many reinventions of that myth over time. And the one that I hadn't seen was the idea of the sort of female creator, you know, animating the male sort of Frankenstein and to kind of creating the perfect boyfriend with this 80s twist. It just kind of felt like a fun way to play with that idea.
For me, then, in embarking and bringing it to life, a lot of what I would like to find is kind of the tone, the overall tone that will carry everything else. So of the three things you brought up, I'd certainly say comedy is the one with the capital C in this movie for me. I didn't particularly even want it to be scary. I liked that it reminded me a lot of Death Becomes Her.
All right, Greg. How many reels for this one?
We're going to put this one kind of like right down the middle. This is either going to be your cup of tea or not. I'll just put it that way.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, one of the fun parts, it takes place in 1989. There's a Volkswagen Rabbit in the movie.
Okay.
I drove that car.
Did you?
Yeah, it was called the Lunchbox on Wheels back in the day.
Hilarious, hilarious. Okay, so when you're in the mood for a little levity, this is a movie for you.
Yeah.
Okay, now next up is a movie called The Teacher's Lounge, and it's a different take on a movie set in school. Explain.
Right, it takes place in Germany, and it's all about these middle school teachers who, you know, of course, hang out in the lounge. Well, all of a sudden, something comes up where a student kind of like accuses them of something. So now they've all got to hang out in the teacher's lounge trying to figure out what they can do to, you know, diffuse this whole situation. Because there's one child who just is filled with, like, you know, all types of anger. And it's an interesting movie. It is subtitled. So I'll let you all know that to start. And I did get in touch with a friend of mine. She lives in Germany. I said, watch this movie because you can see it in a whole different light than I would. Now, she enjoyed it. But like I said, it's one of those where if you're into reading your movies, it's going to be okay.
I mean, and it's good. I think it's just the kind of thing that requires your attention. You have to be in the mood for it.
Right.
You know, and not get up and get a cup of tea or fill up your glass of whatever. It just requires your focus. So how many reels for this
Same thing with this one, you know, right down the middle there, nice, you know, 3, because it's like we said, if you don't mind reading it, it'll be your enjoyment.
There you go. All right, all right. So finally, Greg.
Yes.
Today, this is like a holiday for you.
Yes.
It marks the 60th anniversary of the Beatles first appearing on The Ed Sullivan Show in 1964. Now, you are a huge, huge Beatles fan, so we had to ask you about it.
Oh, it was still one of the most fabulous days of my life.
Oh.
I didn't really even want to watch it. I wanted to watch My Favorite Martian on another channel.
Okay.
But my older brother had already convinced my mom to let him watch it on the, you know, One TV. And when they came on, Ed Sullivan, now, ladies and gentlemen, here they are from across the world in Liverpool, the Beatles. There was just something about the way they looked and sounded, their instruments, the clothes they wore. I mean,
speaking of clothes they wore and what they looked like, you have some dolls here that kind of replicates what they walked around like. Like, you know, we had the suit action going on, the longish bowl cut hair. I don't know how to describe that haircut.
Well, it used to be Mop Top,
Mop
as
Top.
they called it. Yeah, we've got John, George, Paul, and Ringo here. These are all original from 1964.
That's really cool.
And this is part of the collection from home. Rita said I should take everything from home, bring it here, and put it up on a display for a year.
She's trying to have it not come back home, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't realize, that was code for keep that stuff outside of the house, but I don't think you're going to leave it here.
No.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, we're happy for you, Greg.
Oh, yeah.
Happy 60th anniversary of the Beatles appearing on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah. Gonna be. There you go. Enjoy tonight. Also, it's my daughter's birthday. Happy birthday, Charis. Ironically, the same day. Not the same year, but the same day.
Yeah, definitely not the same year. All right. Well, where can people see more of your interviews, Greg
Just
Russell?
go to movieshowplus.com. You can find them all there. And also opportunities to possibly win some swag.
Win some swag. Maybe he'll get you a Beatles t-shirt. You never know.
I could.
Thank you, Greg.